Have you ever walked into a house that somehow already knew your name? Not because someone told it, because it remembered you. My name is Ethan Carter. I'm an architectural historian. For years, I've explored abandoned churches, forgotten hospitals, and old mansions that everyone else was too afraid to enter. People always ask me one question. Do you believe in ghosts? My answer has always been no. Ghosts don't scare me. Darkness doesn't scare me. Old buildings don't scare me. What scares me is when reality stops making sense. Everything changed the morning I found a black envelope waiting outside my apartment door.
At first, I thought it was just another invitation from a private collector. There was no return address, no postage stamp. Only my name, written in elegant black ink. Something about the handwriting felt strangely familiar, even though I knew I'd never seen it before. I carried the envelope inside, locked the door behind me, and placed it carefully on my kitchen table. For almost a minute, I simply stared at it. I couldn't explain why, but opening that envelope suddenly felt like a mistake. Finally, I slid my finger beneath the seal. Inside, there was only a single piece of paper. One sentence. Come back before the house forgets you forever. I frowned. Come back. Back to where? I'd never heard of Blackridge Manor. Or at least, that's what I believed.
Just as I was about to throw the letter away, something slipped out of the envelope. It wasn't another page. It was an old photograph. Its edges were torn. The colors had almost faded away. It looked like it had been hidden for decades. I turned it over, and the moment I looked at it, my heart sank. Standing in front of a massive Victorian mansion was a little boy. He couldn't have been older than 6. Dark hair, gray eyes, a small scar just above his left eyebrow. The exact same scar I have today. No, I whispered to myself. That can't be possible. The boy wasn't similar to me. He wasn't someone who looked like me. He was me. My hands started shaking. I quickly flipped the photograph over. There was only one date written on the back. October 17th, 1998. I stared at it again and again. Then I quietly said, I wasn't even born until 2001. For the very first time in my life, logic failed me. I barely slept that night. The photograph kept replaying in my mind. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that little boy standing in front of the mansion. The next morning, I opened my laptop. If Blackridge Manor was real, I was going to find it. I searched every public archive I could access. Old newspapers, historical records, property databases, even forgotten local forums. For hours, I found absolutely nothing. It was as if the place had never existed. Then, just as I was about to give up, one forgotten newspaper archive appeared on my screen. Blackridge Manor, closed to the public after the unexplained disappearance of the Carter family. Carter, my last name. That couldn't be a coincidence. I opened the article, but almost every line had been damaged. Only one sentence was still readable. No one who entered the house after October 1998 was ever the same again. At that moment, I knew I had two choices. forget everything and walk away. Or find Blackridge Manor and discover why it already knew my name.
3 days later, I was driving through the forests of Oregon. According to my GPS, Blackridge Manor was less than 20 minutes away. The road became narrower. The trees grew taller. Soon, there were no houses, no gas stations, no cell signal, only endless forest. That's when the GPS started acting strangely. The screen flickered. The route disappeared. Then, a new message appeared. "You've been here before." I slammed on the brakes. My heart pounded. I knew that message wasn't part of any navigation system. I had never been here. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. I restarted the GPS. The message was gone. Everything looked normal again. But something wasn't. Because when I looked through the windshield, I noticed a rusted iron sign, almost completely hidden by vines. It read, Blackridge Manor. And beneath it, someone had carved 3 words by hand. "Welcome back, Ethan." Then I noticed something on the dirt path. Footprints. Small footprints. A child's footprints. They were perfectly fresh, as if someone had walked there only seconds before me. Without thinking, I followed them. And that's when I heard a child laughing, very softly, somewhere inside the house. Yet, it was waiting for me. I stepped through the gate. The air changed instantly. Everything became strangely quiet. No birds, no insects, not even the wind. It wasn't silence. It felt like the forest was listening. The mansion appeared between the trees, much larger than it looked in the photograph. Dark windows, broken balconies, cracked stone walls. But somehow, it didn't look abandoned. It looked awake. Then I noticed something on the dirt path. Footprints. Small footprints. A child's footprints. They were perfectly fresh, as if someone had walked there only seconds before me. Without thinking, I followed them. And that's when I heard a child laughing very softly, somewhere inside the house. No wind, no movement, just a long, slow creak. Every logical part of my mind told me to leave, to get back in my car, to drive until this place disappeared in my rearview mirror. But I didn't. I couldn't. It felt as if the house was expecting me. I told myself it was only my imagination. Old paintings always seem to watch you. That's what every historian says. I took another step, then another. My flashlight moved across the walls, one portrait at a time. Old men, women in black dresses, children standing perfectly still. Then I stopped. One portrait was different. It was empty. Only a cracked wooden frame and a dark background. No face. No figure. Nothing. I frowned. Maybe the painting had been stolen. Maybe it had simply decayed with time. I turned away for only a second. When I looked back, my blood ran cold. The portrait wasn't empty anymore. A little girl was standing inside it. She wore an old white dress. Her long black hair covered half her face. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't moving. She was just looking directly at me. Then, very slowly, she raised one finger and pointed toward the second floor. Before I could react, the lights from my flashlight flickered. Once, twice. Then everything went dark. I froze. The darkness swallowed everything around me. Even the beam from my flashlight was gone. Then I heard it. One step. Another. Bare feet. Walking slowly across the floor above me. Step. 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 Each footstep was slow, heavy, deliberate, as if whoever was upstairs wanted me to hear them. I looked toward the staircase. There was no movement, no shadow, nothing, only silence. Then, a tiny voice echoed through the house. Ethan. I felt every hair on my body stand up. I had never told anyone I was coming here. No one should have known my name. The voice came again, softer this time, almost like a child calling for help. Ethan, please, come upstairs. Every instinct told me to run, but something stronger pulled me toward the staircase. It wasn't curiosity. It wasn't courage. It felt like the house already owned a part of me. I placed one foot on the first step, and the entire staircase led out a long, painful creak. The staircase groaned beneath every step. It sounded almost alive. The air grew colder, so cold I could see my own breath. When I reached the second floor, the hallway stretched endlessly into the darkness. Every door was closed, except one at the very end of the hallway. A small white door stood slightly open. A faded wooden sign hung above it. It read, "Nursery." As I walked closer, I heard a soft creaking sound. Back and forth. Back and forth. I pushed the door open. The room was covered in dust, broken toys, a cracked crib, and a tiny rocking chair, moving slowly, all by itself. No wind, no open window, nothing that could have moved it. Then I noticed the wall. Small handprints, dozens of them, pressed into the old wallpaper. Some were so tiny, they could only belong to children. One handprint was different. It wasn't covered in dust. It looked fresh, as if someone had placed their hand there only moments before I arrived. Then, a child's voice came from directly behind me. "You're finally home." My heart stopped. The voice was right behind me. So close. I could feel someone's breath against the back of my neck. Every instinct screamed, "Don't turn around." But I did. Very slowly. There was no one there. The room was empty. The rocking chair had stopped moving. Everything was perfectly still. I took one careful step backward, then another. That's when I noticed the mirror. It hadn't been there before. An old, full-length mirror, covered in dust. I wiped the glass with my sleeve. My reflection appeared, pale, shaking, exactly as expected. Then, my reflection smiled. I didn't. It kept smiling. Slowly, it raised its hand. But my hand never moved. Its lips began to move. Without making a sound, it repeated the same words again and again. "Don't let her find you." A loud crack echoed through the room. The mirror shattered all at once. Thousands of pieces crashed across the floor. When the dust settled, every broken piece of glass showed the same thing. Someone was standing behind me. I couldn't breathe. Every piece of broken glass showed the same figure, standing just behind me. I closed my eyes, counted to 3, then turned around. Nothing. The room was empty. I looked back at the shattered mirror. The figure was gone. Only my reflection remained. I took one step toward the door. Then I heard it. A soft, gentle humming. A lullaby. Someone was singing to a child. The sound came from the hallway. I stepped outside. The hallway was darker than before. The air felt heavier, almost impossible to breathe. At the far end, I saw her. A woman, tall, dressed in a long black gown. Her face was hidden beneath a dark veil. She wasn't moving. She was simply standing there. The humming stopped. Without lifting her head, she spoke. Whisper, "You shouldn't have come back." Before I could answer, every door in the hallway slammed shut, one after another. Boom, boom, boom. Then, the woman slowly raised one hand and pointed to the floor beneath my feet. I looked down. Fresh footprints were appearing in the dust, not walking away from me, walking toward me. The footprints stopped, less than a foot away from mine. Then, they they simply vanished. As if whoever had made them was now standing right in front of me.
The hallway felt impossibly cold. I could barely move my fingers. Every breath turned into a cloud of white mist. I forced myself to look up. The woman was gone. The hallway was empty again. "No," I whispered. "I saw her. I know I did." Then a door opened by itself, not with force, not with violence. Slowly, almost like an invitation. Inside was a small bedroom. Unlike the rest of the house, this room was untouched. The bed was neatly made. Fresh flowers rested on a wooden table. A candle burned quietly beside an old leather journal. Someone had been here recently. I stepped inside. The moment I crossed the doorway, the door closed behind me. Softly. Click. I grabbed the handle. It wouldn't move. I was locked inside. Then the journal opened by itself. Its pages turned slowly until they stopped on a single entry. At the top of the page, written in dark black ink, were 5 words. He finally came home. The pages felt strangely warm, as if someone had touched them only moments ago. The handwriting was elegant, careful, almost beautiful. Yet every word carried an unbearable sadness. If you're reading this, the house has already chosen you. I swallowed hard. Every part of me wanted to close the journal, to walk away, but I couldn't. The next line made my blood run cold. The house never calls strangers. It only calls those who belong. And beside them, a young boy. The photograph was badly damaged. His face had been scratched away, as if someone wanted to erase him forever. But underneath the picture, one name was still visible. Ethan. My hands began to shake. This wasn't possible. Someone had written my name long before I was born. Then, from somewhere deep below the floor, I heard 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. The knocking stopped. The silence that followed felt even louder. I stared at the floor beneath my feet. The sound had come from below. Not outside. Not inside the walls. From somewhere under the house. I looked back at the journal. A new sentence had appeared beneath the old one. I was certain it hadn't been there before. If you hear 3 knocks, stay where you are. But if you hear a 4th, do not answer. My mouth went dry. This had to be impossible. Ink doesn't rewrite itself. Books don't change. Then, the 3rd page turned on its own. A rough sketch covered the paper. It was a map of the manor. Every room, every hallway, every staircase. One
one place was circled in red. The basement.
Written beside it, in hurried handwriting, were 4 words. She's still waiting below. Before I could read another line, the entire room shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The candle went out. Darkness rushed in. Then I heard it. One single knock. Not from below, from the bedroom door. Someone was standing outside. I couldn't move. Someone was standing outside the door. No footsteps, no breathing, just waiting. Then, 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. The handle began to turn very slowly. I stepped backward. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely hear anything else. The door opened. Just a few inches. Darkness filled the gap. Then, a pale hand slowly reached inside. Long fingers, black nails, motionless, waiting. I looked toward the hallway. She was there. The lady in black, standing exactly where I had seen her before. She never walked. She never blinked. She simply watched me. Then she slowly raised one finger and pointed behind me. I turned. The journal was open again. Only one sentence remained on the page. Don't let her touch you. Before I could react, the candle burst back to life. The room flashed bright for a single second. And when the light faded, the lady in black was gone. The room was silent. The lady in black had vanished. But the journal was still open. The final page was waiting for me. My hands trembled as I began to read. I was never the monster. I was the last person who tried to escape. Every soul that enters this house feeds the darkness. It grows stronger with every victim. Then I understood. The lady in black had never been hunting me. She had been warning me from the very beginning. Suddenly, the entire mansion shook. The walls groaned. The floor cracked beneath my feet. The house was awake. Every door slammed shut. Every window shattered. A deafening roar echoed through the halls. It didn't sound human. It sounded like the house itself was alive. Then I heard her voice one last time. Run. I ran as fast as I could. The hallway behind me began to collapse. Pictures crashed from the walls. Wood splintered beneath my feet. The entire mansion was falling apart. I didn't look back. I couldn't. The front door was finally in sight. Just a few more steps, and I'd be free. Then
Something grabbed my wrist. Ice cold. So cold, it burned. I turned. It was the lady in black. She didn't speak. She didn't pull me back. Instead, she slowly released my hand and pointed toward the open door. For the first time, I saw her face. She wasn't angry. She wasn't evil. She looked heartbroken, as if she'd been trapped there for centuries. A single tear rolled down her cheek. Then she smiled, a sad, gentle smile. Before I could say anything, a wall of darkness rose behind her. It swallowed the hallway, and she disappeared forever. I sprinted through the front door, just as the mansion let out one final, terrifying scream. No road. It was as if the place had never existed. Sometimes I almost convinced myself it had all been a nightmare. 3 weeks passed. The nightmares slowly faded. Life finally felt normal again. The police searched for Blackridge Manor, but they found nothing. No mansion, no ruins. Until one rainy evening, I came home and found a black envelope waiting on my doorstep. No stamp, no address, only my name, Ethan. My hands began to shake. I already knew what was inside. Still, I opened it. There was only one photograph. The same mansion, standing in the middle of the forest. But this time, someone was standing at the front door. It was me, watching from inside the house. On the back of the photograph, one sentence was written. You escaped, but the house never let you go. I looked up. Across the street, for just a single second, I saw the lady in black. She slowly lowered her head as if saying goodbye. Then she disappeared into the falling rain. Some houses don't want visitors. They want memories. And once they remember you, they never forget. The end.